what sort of challenges do you face in the current marketplace?
Well, anytime there's change, there's a challenge.
Mm.
And so, some people like to point to, we're making these material changes, but many of the things being taught in dental school are all the schools around the world have not really updated for some of these changes. Some governments, are not updating, to look at what is new and interesting. Prevention is still around the world is still maybe third on sometimes in a priority list, and prevention is really the answer for everything. We tend to, as industry people, tend to just think about restoring teeth when the idea really should be about how do we prevent the disease that even created the need for a restoration. And so we have to think differently. And G.B. Black has a quote from over 100 years ago. He's the father of modern dentistry, even though he's been dead maybe 100 years, is that if we stop looking at what causes the disease, there could be this element that will become simply dental mechanics. And unfortunately, I think that's what's happening. A large part of the world is when students go through dental school, they're learning how to do procedures, and they're following protocols, and they're trying to, they're taught largely on how to repair teeth, but we need to really stop and think about, wait a minute, how do we stop this disease in the first place? And so now what's happening, because of many of the types of restorations that we're placing, we're seeing failure. Is basically, we call it secondary caries sometimes. In other words, the disease came back, and it's as a result of some of the failings of the procedures, the dental materials, and also our techniques. In research, we try to always look at the variables. What are the variables that will affect the best outcomes in any kind of given procedure? And unfortunately, the biggest variable is the techniques that are being implemented by the dentists and any technicians. And so the more we as an industry, I think in some ways we've complicated these techniques because we didn't have the whole answer to solve certain issues, whether it was micro leakage or sensitivity issues. And so we implemented other products to eradicate bacteria or stop the sensitivity, but in doing so we created more steps, and in creating more steps you create more variabilities. And so the science of dental materials, I think what I see happening going forward are materials that simplify the steps, reduce the variables, and increase the opportunity for better outcomes.